Way to go, girl. You're number one. Welcome to the fourth installment of this video series on Blue Carabao Eatery, the history of it, and the former foreigner in the Filipino food biz. I give full credit to my wife, Sherry. She's one heck of a hard worker, dedicated, good mother, and one stormin' Norman of a cook. We were going to a place here called Macro. It's similar to what you got back in North America, Costco, because we were buying stuff like we buy boxes of beef from Brazil. Wow, it's some nice to be able to offer that meat here. Man, compared to, what's available here, that Brazilian meat was some nice. To be able to offer quality meat to these people here, most people that would never get to even touch anything like that was really really nice. And I say that let me tell you something. The Filipino people, they go to the United States and they go to Canada. Now I spent time up in Fort McMurray, Canada, and in the grocery stores and some other clothing stores, malls, nobody was wanting to work there. Nobody worked because they all wanted to be in the oil field. That's where the money was. So all these Filipinos were coming in and they were doing these jobs, and they were looking after people's children while they were off working. Both were working in the oil field, hauling, raking the money in. And so you had Filipino there, and they were doing the job. And there was never a complaint. They did it. They did a very good job. And so whenever I have the opportunity to go grocery shopping, there's a Filipino cashier, and I talk with her and let her know that I'm in Davao City, and it was nice. And I met some guys there. Oh yeah, come on up for the weekend. We're watching Manny Pacquiao. No, I can't do that. I don't do that. Plus, I got to work. But thanks anyway. I appreciate it. So and that's what we try to do too. It's kind of a thank you for all those people that go abroad, and they do the work that we just don't do in our country anymore. The farmers rely on them heavily, so it's kind of a payback. It's a lot of people go to serve Canadians. Well, I come here to kind of give it back, pass it forward, and so that's why you might see me out there cleaning tables and hauling garbage, because that's what I'm doing, is passing it forward. So getting back to Macro, there was a competition. They had a competition there, and it was for a cooking competition. And I said, Sherry, why did you enter that? You think? Yeah, I said, you're darn right. You're just as good as anybody I know. At the time, I didn't realize who was the competition was going to be. So got her all signed up. And then we go back there next week. This is going to be 2 months ahead of time. So now we go back and we see the advertising off the ones that are going to be participating. And these are from some of the top restaurants in Davao City. And so I'm really having to convince her now. She says, oh man, I don't want to. I says, just follow it through. Just have fun with it. Just have fun. It's a good experience for you. Now, this woman has never had any formal training in cooking. The only training she had is when she was younger. Before I met her, her father, in their little Karen area, she worked there while she was going to school. So that was it. All right? Just remember that point. So now come time for the competition at Macro. So I'm going there. I want to see this. Just this is entertainment. And so she made it through the first round, up against some major names in this city. Wow, this is this is good. And so this keeps on going on. And the other ones are dropping like flies. And so lo and behold, what's left is Sherry, the head cook for the Blue Carabao, and one other lady who had a smaller, whooping ass of all these other guys in these fancy pants restaurants in Davao City. So she ended up winning. Sherry ended up winning the competition. Oh my goodness. Well, I was beside myself, and she was just so tickled pink. I had to hold her by the feet to keep her from flying away. She was just, on cloud nine. She just couldn't believe it. And I could because her food was very very good. She really put everything into it. She loves what she does. She loves to cook, and you can taste it in the food. And she's always trying to improve it. So, I take my hat off to her. She did really good. But the best part was they had this great big billboard, huge, massive thing, out close to the highway, and they had her picture up there. She won. Well, every time we go there, she was just so embarrassed that she didn't want to look at it. But well done, girl. You earned it because you worked hard, and yeah, that was quite an experience. So we're going along here now. Let me just tell you, we're working 7 days a week. We're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. She's gone to the restaurant. I'm gone to the market. And I'm telling you, I'm carrying big. I got two great big bags, and I'm getting in shape because it's a workout every morning for me. Big weight. And so we're doing this all day long. And then once I get done there, then I set everything up. I'm the one setting up, and I'm the one cleaning the tables. And she's in the back there with all these other people getting this stuff done. So I lost my train of thought here. So we're going along, and we had to have space rented across the street to storing all this stuff in. And the reviews keep on coming, and they're all very good, and we're drawing a lot of attention. And sometimes, drawing attention is not good. I just warn you just to be careful of that. But I guess the icing on the cake for us was when we got mentioned in a government newsletter. We had a visit from the what is this here? The Philippine Carabao Center, close by to us here. They came and they asked if we could do an interview with you folks and take some pictures. Well, little did we know that this was all to be done for their newsletter. That's our meal there. All right, we got mention of that. This was dated October, December 2010. And if you open it up, right, that's the first page there. It says Kaba, which is local for Carabao, foods, beckon, gourmands. All right, so there's one. And then you got this full spread. All right, that's everything. And then you got a picture of, right, you can see our setup there. That was the old place in Obrero. So at this time, we had two locations going, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But there it is. That was the front. And then, now this is not a cheap magazine. This is not cheap, man. Like, we were really taken aback. And then we got one other. Oh, this is the last one here. That's the last. So very descriptive, going into the history and what's behind the name, Blue Carabao. And I'll make mention of what it says here. That's exactly why the name Blue Carabao. That's exactly what we wanted customers to ask. We want them to be curious about the establishment so that they'll be enticed to come and try out our food. And so the Carabao is a friendly, hardworking, reliable, strong, and solid. So all these attributes that the Carabao, we put that into our place the same. And the color blue on the other end, uh, it's a soothing color and makes people feel good. So that's why we call it the blue Carabao. So if you see this here, that's my creation here called Blue Fire Ice Cream. And we had a lot of fun with that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But when me and Sherry got this here, it was like a pat on the back, and boy, that was really something else. But we were a small little place, and we're number one on TripAdvisor for 2 years in a row, and I'm trying to figure out, my goodness, what's going on here. But when you put it all together, when she wins the competition cooking, and we get mentioned in the newsletter, and so yeah, you get the attention of not some very good people. I'll share with you one instance. You know, again, I want to really drive it home. The main reason why we started this was to make jobs for people and to help them to gain experience, to have a different perspective on ways of doing things. That there is a different way of doing things, and so that they could learn. And so I was proud of the fact that we were paying people a good wage plus the benefits. And so I want the customers to know that. Like my home country, we people are encouraged to be a conscientious consumer, to know where your products come from. Like, is it coming from a kiddie slave shop when you're buying shoes or something? And if you learn that, then you're not going to buy it. So I wanted to educate the customers. You have somebody who came here from a foreign land who is treating I'm a guest here in this country, in the Philippines, but I'm treating your people properly. And so I put a banner up there explaining, what we were paying them, and all the wages, and all this stuff, being very open. Do you know that I had a guy come up and he says, you're making us look bad. And if you don't take that down, something could happen to you. Well, when my wife got wind of that banner came down, because she took it seriously. So that's very sad, really. There are human beings like that. Again, I don't get national. There's human beings like that, and you have those things in other countries. We got them in Canada, but the problem is we only have a small population in Canada. So the population here is like over 3 times. So those issues are times 3. So it's more in your face. That's why. So that's the way I look at it. So it didn't stop me from treating the people properly, whether it be my employees or customers. We really enjoy what we're doing and strive to be the best we can. We didn't follow. When we get into this business, I didn't go out there looking at other restaurants or what they're doing. I didn't care about that. We already had something set up. All we got to do is maintain it and improve it, and that's all we did. It was funny. We had to get some tables because we're really growing here quick. So I go to another city, I think it was Panabo, and I have in mind what I want. And so I had some custom tables, wooden, just picnic tables. That's all they were. So we brought these things in, and I fixed them up some more and put some nice finish. And because we had so many customers lined up on the street, these people are waiting a half an hour to get into this place. And so I'd get people coming in that had restaurants, and they'd be bringing a measuring tape, thinking, that success has got to be in the tables. If we had those tables, we're going to have the same kind. And they're in there measuring. They don't even ask. They just come in and start measuring stuff and taking pictures. Oh, man. And we've had many cooks that we train be robbed, taken from us. We'll pay you this money, come with us. And we teach them to use the best ingredients, and there's a certain way of doing things, and you got to have that special ingredient, love it. And if it's not in there, it ain't gonna work. And sure enough, they'll go with this other, but that owner won't buy those ingredients. He won't, and he won't. He does, because there's not the profit in it that he wants. We're not into it for that. We were never. It was not about profit. It was about breaking even and providing good jobs for people. That's where it's at. So, those things happen, and we've had a lot of it. And we've had one cook here. We keep on trying with this guy. Like he should have had his own restaurant. I would have set him up with his own, but he keeps on. He has a problem, and he doesn't show up for work for a while. They go work with somebody else, and they think, oh man, we got it good now. We got the cook from the Blue Carabao, but they just won't go that extra mile. They just won't do it. If they did, they'd do all right. That's why that one guy, that cook, when he took off on his own, he does that, and he's very successful. Now, good for him. So, yeah, that'll bring us to the end of number 4. Number 5 is going to be something else. Stay tuned for that one because there's a storm a brewing. And get your umbrella out because it's going to be a doozy. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Be good to one another.